So just recently I finally got my item of donated awesomeness through spinning the wheel 1,000 times. And so I thought I'd do a video on how to spend your IODA wisely. So the first most obvious thing to do would be look at the most popular items everyone else is IODAing. So as you can see, when you go to the account management page, you can find the most popular IODA'd items there are, and the top 3 being Necrotic Sword of Doom, Legion Revenant, and the Believing Blade of Nulgath. And if you scroll down, you can see a bunch more. I think this shows all the way up to like top 100 most popular items. So, you can see all the most commonly IODA'd stuff. Now, all these items can be split into a bunch of categories such as pets, classes, and so on. And I'll try and go through each one now. So the first one I'm going to go over is pets with quests. Now, as you can see, the third most IODA'd item is the Believing Blade of Nulgath. Now, the only real reason you have to get this item is if you really like the cosmetics you can get from it. If you like some of the OG Nulgath gear, then you should get this. But as for actually farming Nulgath items, it's not the best thing to get. If you want to make Nulgath farming a lot easier, I'd recommend the Nulgath Challenge Pet. Now, it's rare and has some amazing quests you can go over. So this one gives you 40 Tainted Gems, 40 Dark Crystal Shards, and 10 Blood Gems just for these items, which are pretty easy to get. And it also gives you a way to farm some Uni 13s and Diamonds of Nulgath too. Or alternatively, you could get the Bright Paragon Pet. This is probably the best way to get Legion tokens, even better than the Shogun Paragon Pet. And you're gonna need Legion tokens for a lot of stuff, such as Legion Revenant, getting the 51% damage Legion weapon, the Underworld Sword of Doom, I think, or even like Legion House and so on. So this is a really good option to make Legion token farming way easier. So if you're looking to make Nulgath farming easier, I'd recommend the Challenge Pet. If you're looking to make Legion farming easier, I'd recommend the Bright Paragon Pet. I would only recommend the Believing Blade if you really like the cosmetics you get from it and if you have a membership for a long time, because most of the stuff it gives are member only. Now, if you look to IODA class, I know a lot of people would strongly advise against it as they are farmable. The main 2 you want to get is either Legion Revenant or Void High Lord. Now, honestly, if you don't have time to farm some grindy classes like Void High Lord and Legion Revenant, you might as well go ahead and get Legion Revenant. I'd say it's super useful in Ultras, pretty much the best farming class in the game, amazing support, good soloing too. Although it is easier to get now than it used to be, it's still not an easy to get class, so it's worth IODAing in my opinion. And of course, there are other options like a Vindicator of the Day and Dark Side, which are rare now, and if you want to get just for flexing purposes, you can also get that. And perhaps one of the best value items you can IODA is a collection chest. Now, some collection chests actually come with classes like the Mirror Realm collection chest, and obviously they also have loads of cool gear like this too. I'd advise just going through a bunch of collection chests, seeing if there's any 1 or 2 items you really like, and you also get a bunch of extra items with it. Now, another item you might want to IODA is the Necrotic Sword of Doom or NA 51% damage weapon. Right now, the easiest to get 51% weapon with farming is probably the Exalted Apotheosis. You just have to kill Ultra for like 20 days, and they're the easiest Ultras in the game. You can literally solo them. And if you remember, then Necrotic Sword of Doom should also be pretty easy. It's literally like 50 days of daily quests and you're done. And also be aware that if you do IODA the Necrotic Sword of Doom, you can't get the dual Necrotic Swords of Doom with it. You can only get this if you've got the actual Necrotic Sword. So IODAing this won't let you get all the variants of this sword. But if you're not a member and you're not willing to grind for ages, I'd say this is a pretty good option to IODA. And finally, the best advice I can give for IODAing an item, and the most important part of all, is IODA whatever you want. This is your game. It doesn't matter whether you got the best class or the best damage boost or whatever. If you like an item, go for it. This is your game, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you got the best value item or not. As long as you're happy with your pick, good for you. Should you really care if some random YouTube video said your item wasn't a good idea to IODA? No. So realistically, you can literally ignore everything in this video and IODA whatever you want, because it's your game, and the only thing that matters is whether you're happy with it. Anyways, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.